you obviously start out and think, man, if I could just make some money. But like as most entrepreneurs figure out, like that money is pretty empty. Uh, and that goalpost just continues to get moved. And so it's hard to find like, I think anybody really needs a deep motivation to do hard things. And really, if you ask anybody what's the most important thing to them, whether or not their actions are in line with it, they'll say their friends and family, right? Those are the things that are most important. And I think even if we're not doing the things that kind of show that those are the most important things to us, aspirationally, we want it to be, right? Nobody wants to die alone, or nobody wants to not have any friends and just hide in a hole for their whole life. Like it's pretty empty. And so I think I've latched onto that very early on. For me, it's always been an important thing and a driving factor as to why I'm doing these hard things, and how I balance it is also very important. Because I'll be honest, I mean, I look at a lot of guys that have businesses. We were even talking before we started how many, the businesses you're running, and I can't imagine how busy that is. Like that is a lot. That's a heavy load. And I honestly, in my heart of hearts, think most people that I talk to that are entrepreneurs work harder than I do. Like they spend more time and they work harder than I do. And that's not to say that I'm any smarter. It's to say that I'm protective of my time. And so is my brother. And so we were very aligned in that way. So we would try to squeeze as much as possible as we could out of the hours that we were willing to commit to this thing. And it's interesting to kind of see how that turned out, because while I probably didn't put in the hours that like an Elon Musk or even you are probably putting in their company, I had to be just super effective at the time that I did put on it. And then while balancing that with a healthy, what I thought was a healthy lifestyle of family and time for myself, I felt like that helped me be better at the hours that I was putting towards the company. It's this weird thing, right? It's like, if you spend more time on your company, it should get better. Well, it's like, well, if you kind of work on yourself and take care of yourself, you're going to go longer. You're going to have more stamina. You're going to have more creative thoughts. And so finding that balance is important. And for me, it's definitely a motivating factor. And it sounds like an overnight success, but it was well over a decade's worth of work. And so like, how do you last a decade doing these hard things and just solving problems and always having, the sky's always falling for every entrepreneur, right? That's where I think people getting into the game of entrepreneurship need to spend more time thinking about is how am I gonna last for 10 years doing this thing? It's hard. Like it's not talked about a lot, because I think that's where most people fail, right? Is they give up too early, or they don't have the motivation to go the distance. And it's not a matter of like being super smart. I think like 90% of my success was just staying in the game. Like if you can just stay in the game, the luck happens, right? You meet the right people, you catch certain breaks, but how do you last like a decade? Like that to me is more important than anything.